Hello, my dear learners. I am Teacher Mila, ready to mentor, to instruct, and to lead the adolescent like you to learn English in an easy way. Do you know what conditionals are? Conditionals are sentences that contain condition and an outcome of that condition if it happened or happens in the future. There are two parts of a conditional, the if clause and the result clause. If the pandemic stops, the president will allow a face-to-face learning modality. This is the if clause, and this if clause is also called dependent clause. And this is the result clause or the independent clause. Sometimes we can use the independent clause first. For example, the president will allow a face-to-face learning modality if the pandemic stops. And that is still a correct example of a conditional. There are types of conditionals. Number 1, zero conditionals. Next, first conditionals. Next, second conditionals. And the last one, third conditionals. Today we are going to discuss them all so that you will be able to know the difference among them. Let's start with a zero conditional. A zero conditional sentence expresses a fact or simple implication. A zero conditional statement expresses conditions that are always true and the conclusions of which can be drawn from their premises. The structure is, for the if clause, if plus subject plus present tense of a verb. And then there is a comma that separates the two clauses. Then, for the result clause, we have subject plus present tense of a verb and the rest of the sentence. To summarize this structure, I want you to remember this. Present is to present. What does it mean? So, you are going to use the present tense for the if clause and present tense also for the result clause. That is a zero conditional. Let's take a look at the example number 1. If deforestation continues, global warming becomes a threat to ecosystem and biodiversity. Continues is present, becomes is present. Thus, we are following the basic rule or the structure, which is present is to present. The second example also follows that basic rule. If it rains heavily, clogged canals overflow. So, it uses also the present tense in the if clause and present tense in the result clause. A zero conditional sentence states a general truth or a fact. Always remember that. Number 2 is a first conditional sentence that expresses an idea that might happen at some point in the future. It is something that is possible, but its certainty is unknown because it depends on another event. The structure is if plus subject plus present tense. You use the S form for singular subject and you use the base form for plural subject. Then again, there's a comma plus in the result clause, you have subject plus present tense of a verb and the rest of the sentence. To summarize the structure, we will be able to come up with this. Present is to future. So what does it mean? Take a look at the example. If it rains, Clary will not play outside. What's the tense of this? It is present tense. What is the tense of this? Will play or will not play? It's future tense. So that's the meaning of that basic rule. Present tense in the if clause and future tense in the result clause. Just like also the next example. If you come tomorrow, we will finish all these tasks. Always remember that the first conditional is called a future conditional. It's because that idea might happen at some point in the future. Number 3. A second conditional sentence expresses things that are unlikely to happen. It is used to express an idea that is not true because it is impossible. It is also contrary to a fact or present situation. The structure is if plus subject plus past tense. When you are using the be verb, always use the were. Even if the subject is singular, still you're going to use were and not the word was. If you are using an action word, use the past form of that verb. Plus, comma, plus subject, and then plus past modal. The past tense of will is would, past tense of can is could, past tense of may is might, and the past tense of shall is should, plus the base form of a verb. To summarize that structure, we have past is to past. What does it mean? Past tense for the if clause, just like this, and past tense also for the result clause, just like this, could donate. I said it or I call it as a past tense because can is its present tense, but we are using the could here, so I turned it as past. And so, the sentence is following this basic rule. If I were rich, I could donate more to the needy. Let's go back to the definition. It says here, it is also contrary to a fact or a present situation. So what is the real situation here? If I were rich? Well, the present situation or the real situation here is I am not rich. Okay. For number 2, if Anna came, she might enjoy also the party. Came is past tense and might is past tense also. So we are again following this. Past is to past. But I repeat, I am referring to a past modal. Okay? So what is the real situation here? If Anna came, that's not real because it says here a second conditional is contrary to a fact or a present situation. So the present situation is actually the opposite of this one. Anna did not come, so she did not enjoy also the party. Note that a second conditional is also called present conditional. I repeat, it is contrary to a present situation. Number 4. A third conditional sentence expresses a past idea that did not occur. It is also contrary to a fact or a situation in the past. Structure is if plus subject plus past perfect tense. And how are you going to form a past perfect tense of a verb? So you are going to use had plus past participle of a verb. Example, had written, had chosen, had selected, like that. And then plus comma, and then in the result clause, subject plus past modal. Again, would, could, might, should. And then this time, there is another word to be added, and that is have, plus past participle of a verb, and the rest of the sentence. To summarize this, we can come up with this. Past perfect is to future perfect, but that future perfect is in the past form of modal. Example, if they had practiced safety protocols, they could have saved themselves from getting infected with the virus. So had practiced is past perfect. There. And then could have saved is future perfect using a past form of modal. So it follows the basic rule. And let's go back to the definition. It is also contrary to a fact or a situation in the past. So what is the real situation in the past? So these people who got infected with the COVID-19 virus did not actually practice safety protocols. So it is contrary to a situation in the past. Another, if classes had started in June, the first academic quarter would have ended. Had started, past perfect, that one. And would have ended, that one. So, what is the real situation in the past? That classes actually started last October 5 and not in June. So note that a third conditional sentence is also called past conditional. Now, I want you to analyze this one as a summary of our lesson today. So zero conditional states a fact. First conditional states something that may happen in the future. Second conditional states something which is contrary to a present situation. And third conditional expresses something that is contrary to a past situation. Take a look also of the structure there. So they are different actually. Past is the past. And then this one, past perfect is the future perfect in past form. Okay. So the examples here are if you freeze water, it turns into ice. Present, freeze, and turns present. So present is the present. Next one, present is the future. Let's have visits and will cook. Then this one, past is the past, visited and would cook. And past perfect is the future. Past perfect had visited and would have cooked. That's the future perfect in past form. Now, I would like you to check your understanding of the lesson today. You are going to fill in the blank with the correct verb to form a correct conditional sentence. And I'm going to give you 30 seconds to answer this or to come up with complete conditional sentences using those verbs inside the parentheses. Okay, so how well have you done the exercise? Check your answers now. The first one, if the country had not experienced inflation, some would have not suffered from hunger. There, past perfect, had experienced, and so you're going to use future perfect tense in past form, would have not suffered from hunger. Then, were, and this is also in the past tense. Then, rings, present tense, and the other verb is in the in the future tense. Then, caught, present, and this is a general truth, so it's also present tense. And then the last one, past tense, and so you must use also the past tense there. Okay, have you got 5 or 4? Wow, you are amazing. Congratulations. So, my dear learners, I hope you continue to watch my English tutorials. I am Teacher Mila and I mentor, I instruct, and I lead the adolescent like you to learn English in an easy way. I'll see you next time. Bye.